Welcome, everyone. We are on day 8. We've completed a full week of our 21-day journey. Thank you all so much for coming and being part of this. I hope it's been amazing for you as much as it has been for us to be with you and share all of this incredible experience of Sahaja Yoga with you. So, my name is Linda Taylor. I am coming to you from northern New Jersey, just across the bridge from New York City. And before I get into a few other things to tell you, I want to remind everybody, in case you just joined, that today we are again doing foot soaking. So please make sure you get everything you need for that. A bucket, some salt in it, a towel or paper towels, and a mug with water. And then also tonight we are doing an ice treatment. So if you can, grab one of these types of ice, and if you want maybe a towel to wrap around it, because we're going to use that to clear our right channel, and that's the topic for today. Yesterday we focused on what you're feeling and talked a lot about the different chakras and their qualities. In fact, we're going to do a bit of a review tonight, so I encourage anybody to come. You can invite friends and family. They can come in at any time because they can always watch the recordings. We do build in a lot of review as we go. So please join right in, and you can be live. Just join in as we're going. So today, just to let you know, if you'd like, at the end of the program, we'll be offering an opportunity to be in a breakout room. That's where you can talk one-on-one with the Sahaja Yoga teacher. And if you're new and you feel like you would like to get some to be filled in about what has happened, you're welcome to do that as well. Also today, we're going to invite you, if you'd like, to request a one-on-one mentor. And at the end of the program, we'll be putting a survey form in the chat so that you can fill that out and let us know that you'd like that. Like everything in Sahaja Yoga, this is free, and it's been a really important part of, we feel, people getting established in their practice of Sahaja Yoga meditation, because in our large group setting, you can have amazing, deep experiences with so many people meditating together. But you may have questions, and so when you have a mentor, that's like a friend who you get to know and who can hold your hand and guide you along the way. So I hope you'll take advantage of that opportunity. Tonight we'll have again 2 presenters leading guided meditations. We will have a musician playing live. We will be going for about an hour, and then there will be a Q&A session with some sharing by the presenters at the end. So now I'd like to invite our presenters and musician to please come on the screen. Welcome, everybody. So I'd like to ask you to please introduce yourselves. First of all, Sarvesh.
Hi, I'm Sarvesh Singh. I'm based in Ashburn, Virginia, and been meditating for 30, 40 years, kind of, I think. But this is a journey that everyone enjoys. By profession, I'm a software quality assurance person.
All right, thank you. Kristine.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here tonight as one of your presenters. My name is Kristine Kirby, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, which is the East Coast of the United States. And I've been practicing Sahaja Yoga since the 80s. So I'm very, very pleased to be here and share this experience with you, everybody.
Great. And then we're very honored to have Abhishek Aurora from Seattle. Abhishek, welcome. Can you tell us
Thank
what
you.
you're going to play and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Abhishek. I'm from Seattle, work in the software industry, and meditating for 15, 20 years at this point. I'm going to be playing the sarod. It's a 23-stringed instrument from India, originated in Afghanistan and then was adapted for Indian music. And I'm going to be playing Rag Todi today, which relaxes the second energy center on the right side. So hopefully it goes well with today's theme. So
Yes, it does. We're going to be working on the right channel. So thank you. All right. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to Kristine. She's going to lead us off.
Thank you, Linda. As I said, I'm happy to be here and have been following this journey along in the background. And oh my gosh, it's been now a week. We're on to our second week, so it's day 8 of our progress, and we've learned so much. We've been having a chance to learn about the nature of this Kundalini energy and its capacity for cleansing and nourishing us at the same time. So, this process of meditating, going deeper into the silence and the thoughtless awareness, bringing our attention beyond our thoughts, learning how to observe our thoughts, or to kind of position ourselves in between our thoughts and let that space between our thoughts widen, all which is brought about by this movement of the Kundalini. And so the smothering energy has a capacity to bring us into a state of meditation as we've learned and as we understand. And we've also been learning about the significance of the sensations on our hands, how we can use our gestures to direct our attention and to also influence the flow of the Kundalini. And by directing our attention, the Kundalini responds to the movement of our hands, and it also responds to our attention. So we're guiding ourselves in that regard. We're really becoming our own masters and our own gurus and guiding this process. We learned last night about how we can give a bandhan to a particular chakra, as we're now finding out that we can have sensations on our fingers that relate to the different chakras, and we're going to, as we go along, we're going to learn more about that, so we get more specific about which finger relates to which chakra. So we're learning how to diagnose ourselves. Again, this is part of becoming our own masters and our own teachers. And what can we do about if we're feeling a particular finger, or if we're feeling one side cooler than the other side? One side is warm, one hand is warm, one hand is cool. What can we do about that? So we're developing all these wonderful techniques and tools that we can use to enhance and deepen our meditation. Of course, there's the foot soak, which we're becoming familiar with now, this incredibly powerful technique of using the elements to cleanse and nourish our subtle system and thereby deepen our meditation. Tonight we're going to be doing also a treatment with ice, as Linda was mentioning. So I have a couple of examples here. This is one of the very simplest ways that you can set up ice pack for yourself, is just use a Ziploc bag and pack it with some ice cubes. It's as simple as that. I have my own favorite ice pack here, which is a gel pack, which I will be using tonight for the technique of cooling our right side. So what we'll do is, I think at this point, we'll go ahead and start our foot soak. We start the way we've been starting our meditations on the past nights, by raising our Kundalini, spiraling our right hand around our left hand as we raise both hands above our head and tie a symbolic knot. And we'll do that a total of 3 times. You can tie 2 knots the second time. And the third time, you can tie 3 knots if you want. And then we're going to put the bandhan around ourselves by using this rainbow-like motion, starting at the left hip, extending down to the right hip, and back. And we'll do that a total of 7 times. So now we have the vibrations starting to flow by using these gestures of raising Kundalini. We can leave our left hand open and take our right hand and aim it towards the water that we're going to be putting our feet into. The way Wendy showed us last night, we're going to vibrate and activate this water to make it more effective for cleansing our subtle system. And you can use that bandhan-like movement that we learned last night also, a spiral movement. We're aiming that towards the water and the salt. And then let's go ahead and put our feet into the bucket. And now we can settle down our attention. We can actually bring our attention onto our spinal cord, onto the center of our bodies within ourselves. As we bring our attention onto our central channel, this is the path of the Kundalini, so we can follow and guide our attention. With the rising of the Kundalini, allowing our attention to rise with the Kundalini up to the top of our heads, again beyond our thoughts. And as part of our cleansing process tonight, we're going to put both hands towards the earth. Both left and right side channels can benefit from the cleansing capacity of the Mother Earth. Now, if you have an outdoor space that's relatively private and that's pleasant, one can also meditate right on the earth and put your hands right on the earth. This is another way of using the earth element. I'm not sure if we've mentioned before, but if you meditate directly on the earth and put your hands onto the earth, you can really benefit from this cleansing quality and the ability of the earth to absorb anything that might get in the way of our meditation. But for now, this evening, we'll still access that quality of the earth, putting both hands. And we can take a couple of deep breaths and inwardly ask this Mother Earth, please, through your powers of gravity and magnetism, and through your compassion, please absorb and remove any and all imbalances or obstacles or obstructions from our subtle system. So we're allowing ourselves to release all the heaviness, any and all interference from our system, and at the same time release any tension, physical tension that we may be unknowingly hanging on to. We can bring our hands back onto our lap now. And now let's focus on this evening's technique of cleansing and cooling down the right side channel. So as we've heard in previous sessions, the right side is our channel of activity. So that means not just physical activity, but also especially mental activity. And one of the organ that's on the right side of our body that is particularly related to our mental activity is the liver. And we refer to the liver as the seat of the attention. Because we spend so much time on our process of thinking and planning and projecting into the future, this generates actually a lot of heat on the right side. We may not be aware. And the liver is working very, very hard to supply the energy necessary for all of this thinking, and at the same time, trying to complete its work of cleansing our physical system. And it gets overburdened. So this is a very simple technique to help to relieve some of that heat from the right side. We're going to take the ice pack, whichever version that you may have, and tuck it right across where our physical liver is, which is just under the rib cage on the right hand side. And you want to hold that there. You can wrap something around in order to hold it, or you can do what I'm going to do, which is just hold it there with my elbow. So immediately we can start to feel this cooling effect on the liver. And what does that get for us that allows us, and can for many people really significantly decrease the rate of our thinking, decrease the chatter and the noise of our mental activity, and allow us to really jump into that state of thoughtless awareness. So while we're keeping the ice on the liver, inwardly we can say, Mother Kundalini, please cleanse all the heat from my system, all the heat from my right side channel. While we're doing this, why don't we take our left hand and put it towards the sky, fingers pointing towards the sky, and palm facing backwards. Again, as we've seen in the past sessions, another very effective way to cleanse and release any heat on our right side energy channel, the right side sympathetic nervous system. We allow this air element to draw off, just like a chimney giving off heat. We're releasing this heat into the air element and cooling our livers at the same time. Mother Kundalini, please cleanse my system of any excess heat, stress, tension, inflammation, or overactivity of the right side. And let's just sit quietly this way for a minute or two. We can bring our left hand back down to our lap and just check on our hands and in our awareness, what are we feeling? Just notice without judging. How are we feeling on our hands, and how are we feeling in our awareness? Are our thoughts slowing down? Are we feeling soothed down and peaceful? Perhaps are we noticing some sensations on the top of our head where the Kundalini emits? And let's slowly open our eyes. And let's finish our foot soak. We can take the ice off for a moment, but you might like to experiment with leaving the ice pack on even while we watch the video of Shri Mataji that we're going to be looking at in a moment. But for the moment, let's finish our foot soak by rinsing off our feet and putting the bucket aside to be disposed of later into the toilet. But let's go ahead and do that now. So again, just to review, you can go ahead and continue keeping the ice pack on this area over the liver while we watch the video of Shri Mataji and stay in a meditative state so that we can absorb and benefit from the message that Shri Mataji is telling us about.
On your fingertips, you can feel the centers of other person. If something is fishy, you can feel it. If somebody is cheating you, can feel it. Everything. Your fingers speak. This is what Muhammad Sahib has said. At the time of resurrection, your hands will speak clearly. How can hands speak? This is how, because all these 5 fingers are the centers, 6th and 7th center. One on the physical side, another on the physical and also mental side is the right side, and the emotional side on the left side. These are 2 different systems within us which people are not understanding, that there are 2 channels within us. What we call as the autonomous nervous system has got parasympathetic nervous system in the center, but there are 2 left and right sympathetic nervous systems, and these are the 2 systems that are enlightened on your fingertips, by which you know exactly what is wrong with you, what centers you are catching. That is self-knowledge. People will go mad, but they will not know they are getting mad. They will have cancer, they will not know they are having cancer. This indication tells you exactly what's wrong with you. Now, if you know how to correct your centers, You can correct the centers of others also. Then also, there's another achievement is that you become collectively conscious. Means you can feel others on your fingertips. You can feel others on your fingertips. Who is the other? That's what we think. But nobody is the other. We are part and parcel of one spiritual personality. And once somebody has a problem, we immediately know there's a problem. Because on the fingertips you can feel it. This is true knowledge. It's not some sort of reading a book or some sort of a thing. But it's a true knowledge within yourself, which you know yourself, which we call as cognitive science, which works within yourself. You don't have to go out to read anything, to understand anything. Your own being itself is a complete computer, I should say, which tells you what's what, who is what. We have no idea as to what we are. We have not been given any idea as to what potential we have. It's tremendous it is. It is tremendous. And if it works, it will work for you, for your family, for your children, for your city, for your nation, and for the whole world. So this has to become a collective understanding within yourself, not mentally. Mental understanding is just temporary and passes on. But it's an actualization, again and again I say, it's the actualization of the knowledge within yourself. Then they talk only of that. They talk in the words of chakras, of the centers. That person is this, that person has got this, I have got this. Now, on your fingertips, which gives you a perfect answer for everything. Then it looks after you, it protects you, it guides you, as I told you, and guides you in the right way, in the right manner. And how it achieves things is wonderful. So we have to first and foremost understand that we have to have that spatial personality of a self-realized personality, which will really help and care for others. It's not just talking, it's not just reading, it's not just following some false guru, but it is following yourself, which is to show that you are your own master. You become your master and you know everything about everything. This is the potential in all of you. As I said, it is not only for few people, it's not for only black-white people, but it's also meant for people who are uneducated, who are living in the villages, who are very simple people. It works for all of them, and when it works, you will be amazed how it transforms you and transforms others. And you become so confident about yourself. You don't doubt yourself, because there's an absolute knowledge on your fingertips. It is something that is within you which you should achieve. Of course, for this you should know that so far you have not known, so you have to know. As long as you have this attitude, it would work out. I cannot force, Sahaja cannot force on anyone self-realization. It cannot be forced. It has to be asked for. Unless and until you knock the door, it won't work out. It works out for people only who really want it and who want to become self-realized. As a result, you don't have any responsibilities. It's only the responsibility of the all-pervading power that does everything for you, that looks after you, that guides you and takes you to the right places, to the right situations, and guides you in such a manner that you are amazed. How is it? How is it working? How is it working out? There will be no meaning left to any miracles. But these miracles are not like taking out a diamond and thing like that. But it's a miracle how the circumstances will change, how people will change, how you will become such a joyous, lovable personality. On this subject, I don't know how many lectures I have given, and there's no end to it. But I would say that you should take your realization and go into our programs, whatever they have, and grow into it. Because you take some time to grow, like a seed sprouts, but it takes time to become a tree. But hardly 1 month at the most. And don't have to pay there also, again I'll tell you. Nothing has to be paid. You just give some time to yourself and it will work out. When you have mastered it, you'll be amazed what you can do. A month at the most. Some people just get it and they don't have to do anything, just they know. But most of the people have to do it. It improves everything, your thinking capacity, in the sense your brains get enlightened. You become a very large-hearted personality. And other things that we think of prosperity and all that, all comes through. This I'm just telling you, like a mother would like to give a castor oil with little chocolate on top. But main thing is you must know yourself how great you are. That is what every mother wants her child to know. That's my only desire is in America, if it spreads. In that manner, it will all be a great thing, a great boon for the whole world. May God bless you.
We can maintain this state of silence for a few more moments.
Thank you, Abhishek, for that amazing music. Hopefully, you all feel the difference at your Swadhisthana chakra. Before we start the second part of the meditation, I would request all of you to bring your hands near your heart. Gently open your eyes and look at your own hands. Observe the state of your own hands, whether you feel any warmness, tingling, heat, or coolness. And where all do you feel that in your palm? Just make a mental note of that, and then you can bring your hands down back in your lap, palm facing upwards. Please make sure to keep a distance of at least a millimeter between your fingers so that your fingers are separate. Your fingers should be open but not bent. They should not be stretched out too hard. They should be in a very normal state. Let's gently close our eyes at this time and take our attention now to where our right leg joins the body. Keeping your attention where your right leg joins the body, with all humility, please say within yourself a few times while keeping your attention there. Mother, please help me and guide me to keep away from all the temptations which are spoiling my meditative journey. Please destroy any problems that I am encountering in my spiritual journey. Now gently take your left hand and place it on your right lower abdomen area, the belt area on the right hand side. This is the lower end of your liver. So keeping our attention and our left hand on the right lower abdomen area, which is the right side of your second chakra, the Swadhisthana chakra. Please say within yourself, Mother, please help me and guide me in purifying my attention and stabilizing my attention within me. Your liver is like the heat sink because all the blood flows through it at least twice a day. So we will say within ourselves at this time, Mother, please dissipate all the excess heat from my liver. Mother, please dissipate all the excess heat from my liver. The moon, which affects the tides, which causes the tides, also has the ability to cool down our liver. So we will say this statement within ourselves at least 2 to 3 times while keeping our attention still on our right Swadhisthana, the right side of our second chakra. Mother, let the coolness of the moon cool down our liver. Gently bring your left hand on the right side of your stomach, the right side of your navel. So now you're keeping your attention and your left hand on the right side of your third chakra. And please say within yourself at least 2 to 3 times here, Mother, please give me peace, joy, and satisfaction in my financial, my official life. Mother, please bring peace, joy, and satisfaction in all aspects of my work life, my financial life. Mother, please use me as a tool to establish peace within me, within my family, within the society that I live in, and in the world that exists around me. Whatever statements we request you to say, please say those statements at least 2 to 3 times within yourself while you are keeping your attention within you. And after that, just see the magic your humble request is making to your subtle system. Let's gently bring our left hand just under our right rib cage. Keeping your attention just under your right rib cage. Please say within yourself few times with complete humility, Mother, please help me and guide me to become the perfect spiritual master. Give me the mastery of all my senses. Gently bring your left hand on your right heart. Attention completely on your right heart. Please make sure to keep your attention wherever you are keeping your left hand, which is presently on your right heart. Mother, please help me and guide me to become the perfect human being. Let me fulfill all my responsibilities without feeling their weight. Gently take your right hand and place it at the junction of your right neck and shoulder and move your face towards your left shoulder. Please say within yourself at this time, Mother, please dissolve all the bitterness and reactions within me and fill me with complete sweetness in my voice and in my being. Gently take your left hand and place it on your left forehead and the area above your left ear. So you're covering the left part of your forehead and the area above your left ear using your left hand, left palm. Mother, please dissolve all the ego, anger, and reactions within me so that all my thoughts related to my future get dissolved. Gently bring your both hands back in your lap and gently take your attention now to the top of your head. If you are not able to keep your attention at the top of your head, the fontanel bone area, the soft area in your childhood, you can massage your scalp at the fontanel bone area in a gentle clockwise motion for like 3 to 5 to 7 times. And then you can bring your hands back in your lap. And for next 2 minutes, let's just keep our attention completely in silence at the top of our head. At this time, I would request you to bring both your hands back in your, bring your hands near your heart level. Gently open your eyes and look at your own hands. Make a mental note of the state of your hands at this time. I'll hand over to Linda at this time.
Thank you, Sarvesh. Thank you, Abhishek, for the beautiful music, and thank you, Kristine, for showing us the ice treatment and that guided meditation. So we want to talk a little bit about meditating at home. Earlier this week, we gave you a handout and we talked about how you can do a simple meditation on your own. In addition to coming to these collective meditations online, if you can manage to do an individual meditation in the morning or anytime during the day, and hopefully you have a place in your home that is especially for meditating, because if you do, that place will get more and more vibrated, more and more full of the silence, and then it's easier to meditate when you go there. Now today we want to add one more element to your meditating at home, and that is the photograph of Shri Mataji. Of course, you've seen her photograph in every program, and we've talked about that she has founded Sahaja Yoga, and that she's an incredibly amazing spiritual personality. And we use her photograph. She asked us to use the photograph as a tool to help us go deeper in our meditation. Every photograph has vibrations. It contains the energy of, if it's a person, of that person. If it's a natural scene, you saw the Cabela River vibrations the other day in the video, how powerful they were emitting. So Shri Mataji's photograph has very, very strong vibrations that our Kundalini responds to and rises with. And these vibrations from her photograph also clear our chakras. So that's why we use it. And that's why we encourage you to get a photograph. In the handouts on the website, we have posted some photographs. We're going to see them in a minute. You can download them. What we recommend is that you put the photograph in a glass frame, and because a plastic frame blocks the vibrations. So a glass frame, and around the photograph, something natural, wood or metal. So, and find a place that is the place where you meditate, that you can keep the photograph, and we usually put a candle in front, and as you can see, we put flowers. That's all up to you, but and we put a nice cloth if you have one. It's a way of showing respect to the photograph and making it a beautiful place. So then, in the same way that we talked about meditating simply, is you can raise your Kundalini and give yourself a bandhan, and just sit with your hands open to the photograph and see what you feel. And you can do a simple meditation where you put your hand on top of your head, raise it up, and see if you're already in meditation. Otherwise, you can clear whatever you feel using the techniques we've taught so far. But the main thing is to keep your hands open in a relaxed way, to be receptive to the vibrations that are flowing from the photograph. So we're going to be talking more about this during the question and answer session. So now I want to share a few announcements with you. Tomorrow we're going to be working on the left side channel, and we're going to be using a candle. That is the natural element, the fire element, that helps on the left side, whereas we use the ice for the right side. We don't use ice on the left side, and we don't use candles on the right side. We use candle on the left and ice on the right. So we're going to work on our left side channel with candle tomorrow. And so please get a candle ready and something to hold it in that you can manipulate with your hand to participate in tomorrow's session. So we have program resources. I mentioned in the beginning that we are now inviting you to request a mentor. And that is a one-on-one practitioner of Sahaja Yoga, experienced practitioner, who will be open to answering any questions you have, meditating with you, working on your chakras, helping you to clarify anything about the meditation. And it's really very much of a friend and support relationship. We all get so much from these interactions as well. And we feel really honored if you will give us the opportunity to hold your hand and walk alongside you as you experiment with and grow deeper in this practice. So please take advantage of this. And I mean, you can meet as often as is comfortable for you, and you can work that out with your mentor. So please, will be something posted in the chat, maybe it's already there, that you can fill out and let us know if you'd like to do this. We'll keep offering this as the course goes on. So if you're not sure, it's okay, but we hope you'll take advantage of this opportunity. Again, you can join our WhatsApp group. Here you can see the QR code to go to the website, and we're going to go there real quick because I want to show you, if we scroll down, we can go past the joining links and then get to the recording section where we have day by day the recordings. And if we will open that up and go to day 8, that's today, and there you'll see, keep going a little bit, there's two different photos there in different sizes. This one that you, I'm sure, are familiar with now, that we've been using for the first week. Now we're starting to use different ones you may have seen. And keep going. Then we have this black and white photo, if you prefer, in 2 different sizes. So you can download these, you can print them out. Ideally, you can just send them off to get them printed in a nice way, or as you wish. And then please frame them, and as we just discussed. There's also today a handout on the ice treatment, and there have been handouts on foot soaking and other techniques so far. So hopefully you are taking advantage of these. Also in the WhatsApp group, we share these handouts with you. So that's another way to stay up to date on what's happening in the course. All right, so let's go back, and I just want to tell you a couple more things before we get to the Q&A. Right now, we are going to go into the Q&A part, but you have 2 options at the moment. If you'd like to go in a breakout room, you can request that. There's someone here in the Zoom called Breakout Room Help. If you send a message to that person, they will arrange to put you in a room with a teacher. Or you can simply write a question to one of the 3 chat Q&As. They can answer your question in writing. Or if you want, we are also going to answer some of those live. So just want to say this is the formal end of the program, but if you'd like to stay on, I would like to welcome our 2 presenters back, Sarvesh and Kristine. And we're going to take your questions as they come. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask them to share some of their experiences. So welcome back, Sarvesh. Thank you for that beautiful meditation.
Sure.
And Kristine, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So today we've cleared the right channel and we worked with ice. So I just want to ask if there's anything you could share about your experiences in clearing the right side and using ice or other techniques to clear the right side. Sarvesh, would you like to start?
I would just say that it's a very helpful, ice technique is one of the very helpful techniques. And being in a software industry, we get into a lot of stress environments, and what I've seen is that coming back from work, if I do ice pack right away for like 15 minutes or so before I even do anything else, it really helps out my attention. My interaction with my family is much better. My kids feel much better when I've put an ice pack for like 15-20 minutes as soon as I'm back from my work. And
That's good. Yeah. Smart. That's smart. Sometimes I think we forget. I mean, we we know we're not feeling great, but we don't do anything about it. Right?
Yeah.
So I must say, for me, when I started practicing Sahaja Yoga, I was so amazed that there were ways to actually solve these problems, and that, we didn't have to just suffer with feeling exhausted or burnt out or whatever it may be, but there's something we can do very proactively, right, to make it better.
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. All right, Kristine, how about you?
Yeah, that's so true what you just said, Linda. There's just completely these simple techniques that are so practical and so commonsensical. I mean, if you're feeling hot, put a ice pack on, and it really does work. My experience is, I honestly, in terms of my own vibrations, I usually feel more like using a candle, which we're going to be learning about tomorrow night. I use the ice pack less, but in terms of clearing out the right side, there are times when I just sit down to meditate and I just feel hot. And maybe not so much at this time of year. We've had some very cold days here in the Northeast, but where I just feel like almost like a sort of, I can feel this rush of heat moving out, like kind of evacuating and being released in the first few minutes of sitting for meditation. For whatever reason, I came into the meditation a little heated up. Who knows why? Too much activity, or maybe a shower that was a little too hot, or maybe I was just doing exercises or something like that, and I've had that heat is still sort of bubbling in there. And then I sit down to meditate, and the technique that I showed you, I don't know if it was an introduction, if we had this technique before, putting the hands towards the earth. I find that very helpful also for releasing if I'm feeling hot, if I'm feeling, that warmth. And it can be a very dramatic feeling of just release where it just kind of flushes out of me. So that's my experience. Usually it goes pretty quick. When
Okay.
it's ready to go, it goes. So.
All right. Well, that's such an important point, that we use what we need to do to use from the toolbox, right? So that's when we start to, whatever we feel, we use either ice or candle, but we don't just always use ice. We just have to see what we feel and what we need that particular day, right?
Right. It's a
Yeah.
process of experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
I think, which is what we did tonight, because we all use the ice pack, but that for us, that was an experiment. Let's see how this is helpful. And I can say, even though I don't use ice as much as I use candle, it was great. I was really happy using the ice tonight,
Uh-huh.
Remind me
Yeah.
to try that.
Nice. Yeah, for me, I mean, especially if I have to spend a lot of time on the computer, it really heats up my liver and my right side, and it gets me thinking, and just, so I just wanted to share my sort of super ice belt.
Oh, that.
That's
That,
amazing.
Front and the back.
that's like, you can strap it on, and then I mean, ideally you take a break, and, that is really a good, and meditate, especially in front of the photograph. But I mean, if you have to keep working and your liver is hot, then you can strap it on and just, it helps.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Did you want to say something, Sarvesh?
The more office meetings you have in a day, the more you need the ice pack. That's
Yeah, definitely.
that's my observation.
Absolutely. And just there's no way out with the computer. I mean, it
Yes.
really does heat up the right side. So, but it helps us so much and we use it, but we have to take care. We have to take care of our subtle system as a result.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing I want to ask you about is the photo. We've talked about using the photo, and how can you tell a little bit about how it was for you when you first started practicing Sahaja Yoga with the use of the photograph, or any experiences you've had with the photograph? Again, I'll ask Sarvesh to start.
It's a I started when I was a very young kid. So for me, it was how should I say? I come from a culture where respecting a teacher or respecting a master is part of the upbringing. So for me, that is how I started it. But during college days, there were times when I experimented and saw myself how the effect of the photograph, or how it helps us. It's like I say to the people in the coming to the class, you cannot recognize the divinity within other human beings or any other human being without recognizing the divinity within you. So with meditation, we recognize the divinity within us, and that's when we can recognize the divinity within the other human beings, how much divinity exists within the other person.
Beautiful. Kristine?
Yes, well, my initial experiences with Sahaja Yoga, well, going back quite far, um, I don't know this, I can just tell you this little story with the man who became my husband, who introduced me to Sahaja Yoga. And I was visiting his place one time, and he had a photo of Shri Mataji set up. And at that time, I was completely clueless about the idea that, what the meaning of the photo might be. And I just sort of set my purse on top of, on the counter, the counter where he had the photograph. And I could see he was feeling a little uncomfortable. And he said to me, well, you see, this is something that I really respect. And, that's very meaningful to me and is important to me. And, the way you just sort of put your purse there was not really respectful. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never had thought about that. And, I had a lot of respect for him. So I immediately, oh, how thoughtless of me, how insensitive of me. And, I took down my purse. And that was the first time I sort of realized, he later did introduce me to this system. And, we had some initial meditative experiences together, but that was my first encounter with the idea that the photograph has this extremely meaningful, and, potentially powerful object or image. That's one story that I thought I would mention. Was really, I would have to say, my first experience ever with the photograph. And I thank my now husband for that learning experience. My next encounter with the meditation of Sahaja Yoga was really with Shri Mataji in person. So, and as you can imagine, that sort of trumps any other. I mean, that was like, that was, being with Shri Mataji in person is an extremely, very powerful and for me, it was just a complete eye-opening experience. I'd been reading a bit about it and hearing a bit about it and not really completely having a full experience. As I know many of you, it does take some time to develop that sensitivity. And I hadn't really had a full experience up until the point when I met her. And at that time, I had a very full experience of the vibrations. So, for understandably. So when I went back and was not with her and we were using the photograph, it was a little bit of an anticlimax for me initially. I respected the photograph because it was an image of someone who I'd found to be, a true guru and a true master. But I wasn't having vibrational experiences until this one day when I had a photo set up in my bedroom, and I just had this impulse that I wanted to clean it, to wipe it clean. And just with just a Kleenex and some water, nothing elaborate. I just cleaned the photograph, then cleaned the top of it, cleaned the dust off, and I just immediately felt all these vibrations, like completely. Again, it was one of these experiences where you're not expecting. I think I've actually emphasized that in some of my other sharings, that when I had experienced vibrations where it was the last thing I was expecting, and this was a similar experience, was like completely unasked for. This was just this gift of really strong vibrations as a result of that, and I can feel it now just talking about it as well. So those are a few little tidbits.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Experience of the photograph.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, I'd like to share my initial experience. When I was very new, I had the idea that I could meditate without the photograph. And although the Sahaja Yoga teachers had told me, you should try it, I was like, no, I don't think I need it. But then eventually I thought, well, maybe I should at least give it a shot. So one day, and this is kind of expanding on the story I told last Tuesday, I was sitting where I meditate, and I decided I would put the photo out, and I put out my hands. And I felt like such a blast of vibrations. And in fact, the photograph that we've been seeing for the first time today is the one that I was using that day. There it is. You can maybe see it in the spotlight. And that to me was such a beautiful photograph, so ethereal, so just silence giving. And so I put my hands out and I felt this blast of cool vibrations. So could not ignore that. And then I still was doubting. So, and I put my hands away from it. I didn't feel as much. I put my hands towards it, blast of vibrations. So, but then I still was doubting. So that's when actually I went into the closet that I was telling you about last week, and I brought the photograph with me, and and I put my hands towards it, and sure enough, it was again a blast of cool vibrations. So I think it was my time to feel it, and I just it was undeniable. Shri Mataji often says, in all honesty, as a scientist, if you see and if you feel something, you can't deny it. So after having that experience, I really understood that it was real, as unexpected as it may be that this photograph was giving so many vibrations, but it really is real. And so, and each photograph has such a beautiful, different emanation, you could say, and giving a different message, and our subtle system responds differently to each of them. So it's really quite a beautiful, you could say, journey to enjoy each one and see how it affects you. So
just to add on to what you just said, Linda, there is the one of the best ways that a newcomer can experiment is meditate one day with the photograph, meditate one day without the photograph, or you want to extend it, meditate 1 week with the photograph and 1 week without the photograph, and see how your meditative journey changes. And that's when you start realizing what the importance is.
Absolutely, yes. And one thing I wanted to mention too is these flowers that are sitting by this photograph have been there for a week. And
interesting.
So that's another, I thought, well, maybe I should bring new flowers, but sometimes the vibrations from the photograph keep the flowers fresh. And so in this case, they really are doing that. So
yes,
it's very beautiful. All right, we have a couple questions. We can listen. I'll read this one. Someone is saying, I've heard people introduce themselves and mention, I received my self-realization in 1995. Could you explain this a little more? Is self-realization the goal? How do you know you've been realized? And what does realized mean?
Oh boy.
Sarvesh, I think you're happy to answer that.
Self-realization is if you just talk about the definition part, self-realization means realizing that you are nothing but the spirit and how you connect to that spirit. That would be the basic definition of the self-realization. But the way Shri Mataji has explained all of us is, the more you meditate, the more you realize that how you are connected to the spirit and you are just the spirit, and how the day your Kundalini crosses more or less the seventh center, you get connected to the divine energy which exists all around us. It's like you start tapping into that energy. And that's when you can call yourself as self-realized in that definition. That's how I would put it.
That's beautiful. I mean, one thing that Shri Mataji has always said is that, she gives us the experience to begin with. So when we feel even one or two strands, very few of the Kundalini come up to the top of our head, and it opens out a little, and we can feel something, or maybe we feel heat. But it's like she says, like, we turn on the light, and then it's up to us to go further, to meditate, to bring up more and more strands of the Kundalini, right? So, but in a way, what I understand is that as soon as even one or two strands comes up and breaks through that seventh center, then that's what we call self-realization.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well, that that
Perfect.
moment that the Kundalini pierces here, but because it's a flowering, right? So the flower just starts to open and then it has to complete its process. So the way Sarvesh was saying, when you may have that experience, but not feel like that total connection that what Sarvesh is talking about quite yet. But it's the beginning of that flowering process. But so it is. I think you do have to take it on faith a little bit. That I felt it pierce. I felt some sensation here. Yes, I am self-realized now, but it's not. It's it will just recede back down unless you follow that up with, as Linda was saying, in the light of that experience, you follow it up with
The
raising.
interesting
You need to sort of like self-realize yourself again and again by raising the Kundalini up.
So the interesting part to add to what just Kristine said is if you think about it, the number of threads of your Kundalini within your sacrum bone is 3 into 7 raised to power 108. So when we start meditating, one or two threads come up, but as you keep on meditating, more and more threads of the Kundalini start coming up, and your experience deepens as more and more threads of that energy keeps up coming up.
Absolutely. Yeah, those strands fill your central channel and they help you become silent. Yes.
Right.
So I hope we've answered the question. Um, Also, I just want to say that tomorrow I neglected to tell everyone that we're going to have workshops from the second half of the program, and you'll have a chance to go in a breakout room, and the Sahaja Yoga teacher there will be able to help you feel it and also can tell you if it's there. So that'll be a way that you can get some confirmation about what you may be feeling or not feeling. Even if you can't feel it, it may be there and someone else can feel it. So that's in the beginning sometimes what happens. All right.
Some of the early days, if I have time to interject one more time, and some of the
Sure.
my early experiences with feeling it, and I could feel it on someone else much better than
Yeah.
I could feel it on myself. Like it was
Yes.
really obvious that there was cool breeze pouring out of someone else's head, and
Yes.
for myself, I was maybe like always still kind of am I in the right place. So it's when you start having those workshops and those experiences with other people that way, it can really increase your sensitivity.
Yeah, and actually, if those of you who live near a Sahaja Yoga Center or weekly meeting, you can do that in conjunction with attending these online classes. So that's a great way to go and actually meet Sahaja Yoga teachers in person, and that way you can also learn more about what's actually going on in you. They can work on you and tell you what they feel. All right, here's another question. With the techniques we are learning, is there a simple way to incorporate it while someone is working at the gym or sport or walking outside?
Interesting.
Go ahead. Christine,
No,
go
no.
ahead.
Kristine, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Kristine.
yeah.
Yeah, you can incorporate it. I'm not so sure about being at the gym, but certainly if you're walking outside. I mean, the gym, if I wouldn't call it a meditative atmosphere necessarily. I'm not bashing going to the gym. I'm sure I should go much more often than I do. But walking outside, like as I was describing earlier, actually meditating outside is something you can do. Now, in the middle of February in New England, not necessarily my first choice of how to meditate. But if you were living in California or someplace, someplace in South Florida or someplace nice like that, going outside and being in, communing with the natural world in combination with trying to bring yourself into that meditative state. So how do we bring ourselves into that meditative state? Well, you can do this, but you don't necessarily have to do that. You can just bring your attention onto your central channel, bring your attention, onto the top of your head, above your thoughts. Start witnessing your thoughts. Be an observer of your own thoughts, bring yourself into the present. All of these things that we are experiencing and achieving with the tremendous support of the Kundalini becomes much more accessible to us in general, just at other moments of the day. So I would say, taking a walk, walking outside, being in nature would be very conducive to that. I'm still trying to imagine how to do that at the gym, but I'm not sure.
Well,
No relationship with gyms. It's a little.
I mean, if you're listening to meditative music while you exercise, that could help.
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure it could be. There's just that I just think of it as being there's more interference because you're not just processing your own vibrations, you're processing the vibrations of a bunch of other people.
Can be challenging.
That can be, that can act as a little bit of interference in that regard. But so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you explained everything, Kristine. You did a good job explaining that.
Yeah.
That is very true. The only thing which I can add is when you are outside looking at the sky for some time, or looking at the green grass for some time, or looking at the water for some time, really helps out.
Mm-hmm. Like yesterday's session or 2 days ago was on the natural elements. So that is how they can really help us to soothe our attention. And I would just add one thing is just to, you can practice, just like, just kind of as you go through the day, as Sarvesh was saying earlier, just massage the top of your head, put your hand there, raise it up. I mean, take a little meditation break, no matter what you're doing during the day, and just try to increase the amount of time that you spend up here. And then it just starts to come more naturally as a place that your attention and the Kundalini therefore will go to. Yeah. All right, here's a beautiful question. Can you speak of miracles that have occurred since starting Sahaja Yoga meditation?
Sarvesh, your turn.
It's a very interesting question. What is miracle? It's a very how should I put it? What might be miracle for someone might be a common thing for another person. It's definition which is very unique. I've had many miracles in my life, and I've had many things happen which have happened over my spiritual journey. But the best part of this is that how do you learn from that miracle, and how do you connect yourself to the divine power with every miracle that is happening. Because when you learn from that miracle and you understand how divine is looking after you, that is the key to the miracle. Miracle might be a small thing, miracle might be a big thing, but the question here is that miracle teaching you, increasing your faith in the divine power? Is that miracle connecting you to the divine power? That is what I would say.
Beautiful. Kristine, do you want to add?
I mean, the thing that jumps to my mind, and this is something maybe yet to be enjoyed and shared, there's a tremendous number of, once we figured out the power of Shri Mataji's photograph, as as a group of people, you can imagine that everyone wanted to take, we wanted to take lots of photographs, and a lot of photography took place. There are a tremendous number of photographs that show a light emitting from Shri Mataji, from her hands, from her head, and not just of Shri Mataji, but of groups of meditators meditating together. And some of them, I mean, there's a ton of these. there, I think I've taken one or two,
Mhm.
and not even realized until after the fact that it wasn't like, just sort of, that it wasn't a mistake, like, oh, like it's something, a flare, a solar flare or something. But some of them are quite, you really can distinguish like this movement of the Kundalini amongst a large group of people together. Um, so that's what comes to my mind. It's in terms of the element of the elements that are involved in the photographic process, these vibrations that we feel, and the movement of the Kundalini gets translated into light in the context of photographs
Mhm.
very easily.
Yeah, maybe we'll share some of those photographs at
Sure,
some
but we
point.
will definitely share them along the way.
Yes,
They are available, and yeah, so
yeah.
There is you reminded of the photograph, so I'll just share here something which happened to me personally. I was at Shri Mataji's house, the house that she was born in, and I was with certain other people who were there along with me, and I had a digital camera and I was taking photographs of the place. I took photographs of the place, and interestingly enough, the photograph was more covered with the silverish vibrations that were there in the photograph, whereas, and I showed it to the people left and right next to me, and they were like surprised because we were standing there in front of that place
Mhm.
and in the front of that room, and we couldn't see anything by the eyes. But the interesting part is the camera captures what human eyes cannot capture.
right. It's remarkable.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, we could talk for hours about that, actually. I know.
They could, yeah. So
There's
the short answer is yes.
yes, many miracles, and I call them major miracles and minor miracles,
Yes.
and there's the synchronicity that you get as you um the more you can keep your attention here and be in the present. There's this flow that you get in where, in fact, Malik was talking about this the other day. You want to talk to somebody and they call you, or
Right.
you need something and all of a sudden somebody offers it to you out of the blue. I can't countless times it happens to me all the time. And so I think we just start experiencing these what I call minor miracles. I mean, major miracles too, things that work out in our lives. So, sometimes not everything works out. There's a question, can I use this meditation for weight loss or motivation for something? And of course you can. And we're going to demonstrate some specific techniques for when you desire something or want something or are concerned about something. We'll be covering that shortly, and there are some ways that we connect to that very, very specifically that Srimachi has taught us. But yes, anything in your heart that is a pure desire, certainly with patience or maybe immediately, it just depends, can work out in Sahaja Yoga. That's been my experience. All right, so I think we're going to end it there. Maybe there's another question or two. No. Okay. Alrighty. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and I hope everyone out there also enjoyed. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we will work on the left side with the candle, and we'll have the workshop in the second half where you get to be in a small group or one-on-one with the Sahaja Yoga teacher. So uh, thanks for coming tonight, and see you tomorrow.